brother with my brother.
Okay.
So yes.
Wow, that's amazing stories. You have quite some stories to tell, you know. Hello.
Hi, very good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Yeah, doing great. I have no complaints so far. What about you, ma'am?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for asking. So, how's your day going?
The day is going good. It is according to my plan, and I will leave my home at 3 p.m. because my duty time is 3 to 11 p.m. So you can
Okay.
see. I have worn my uniform.
Yeah, you are in your formals. All right.
Yeah. Mhm.
So that's great that you're still joining the sessions on time. So wonderful.
Yeah.
So, are
Yes.
you aware of today's topic?
Yeah. It is. It was all about childhood, I think.
Yeah, yes, correct. It's about childhood. So, tell me something about your childhood. How was your childhood?
I was very naughty in my childhood. I was mischievous child at that time, and I am youngest of my siblings, and we are four siblings. So
Okay.
I was so you can say I was uh, very pampered with my parents,
Yeah.
and that's so I can say I would say I was naughty at that time.
And where were you born?
Sorry, come again, ma'am.
Where were you born?
My date of birth is 2nd July 1980.
No, where place?
I hail from Madhya Pradesh.
Oh, Madhya Pradesh. All right. And tell me something about your siblings. How's your bond with your siblings? Did they also love you like your parents? Did they pamper you, or were you always in a fight and all of that?
Yeah, I used to fight with my elder brother who is next to me, and my elder brother was like my father. He was beating me at that time,
Okay.
and such types of bonding I had with my brothers, and I used to fight with my brother who is next to me. Even I had beaten him brutally at once, and I had hit him by pen, and the pen was hanging into their face on their face.
Oh my God, that's very brutal.
So you can assume how I was.
Sibling rivalry is often very, look up to, because we see that in every household where there are more than two kids or even two kids, they always fight. I have my younger brother, and even though he was younger to me, 4 years, we still used to fight a lot. So, sibling rivalry is everywhere to see. But yeah,
Yeah,
yours,
yeah.
this was a brutal case where the pin was hanging on his face.
Even I had beaten my elder brother who is next to me by bricks one time.
Oh my
So
God. Did your parents
yeah,
not scold you? Were you
so
scolded by your parents?
yeah. I had been scolded by parents, and I was living with my elder brother. So he had left me outside for overnight, and I had slept with my neighbor
Oh my God. Were your
because
parents not home?
actually I was not living by my parents. My parents were in my native, and when I was studying, so I was living in city
Ah,
with my elder brother, with my brother.
okay.
So yes.
Wow, that's amazing stories. You have quite some stories to tell. That's what, like,
So
really something.
these two incident I can recall because it was very dangerous and
Mhm. Yeah, they are
other
actually.
yeah.
And what about, your games that you used to play in childhood? Is there any particular game that you remember playing with your brothers or with your siblings, friends?
Yeah, I used to play cricket. I was very fond of cricket. Uh, Cricket, chess. I used to play chess with my cousins. Mm, yeah,
And with your personality, I assume you would have a lot of friends too, right?
yeah. At
Yeah.
schooling time in my childhood, I had a lot of friends.
And who was your best friend? Do you remember
Best
his
friend
name?
childhood. So unable to recall, but there were some best friend. Uh, uh, with them, I was hanging out every time. Uh,
Were you this,
they,
yeah,
sorry.
were you this naughty at school also during your, lectures as well?
Yeah, I was naughty. I was naughty, but I was good at study as well, and I was scoring good marks. I was on second number in my class. I was
Oh,
topper as
wonderful.
well. Yes. So apart from study, I was doing mischievous things.
Yeah. So you were kind of balancing it out, not getting too much scolded either.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, 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 yes.
And
Mm.
yeah, continue.
Yeah, and I can recall one incident after clearing my eighth class exam, and I got admission in one of the best school. After appearing entrance exam, I had got admission in that school. That was best school among the schools uh,
Okay.
of that
In that
city.
area.
Yeah,
Okay.
so yeah, that was
Wonderful.
awesome
That's
fun.
very great. So you kind of were a smart student and a mischievous student as well. So that's nice. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
a good combination, I believe.
Yes, you can
Also,
say till 10th class I was very mischievous and I was naughty. At 8th class, 9th class, but after 10th I had become more mature and I was concentrating on the study.
wonderful.
Uh,
And what about, do you remember any embarrassing moments that you had faced?
Embarrassing. That was embarrassing moment when my elder brothers had left me outside after that
Yeah,
incident.
that is quite embarrassing.
And yeah, and so many time I had faced embarrassment. I was good at singing as well. So whenever guests were coming, and my parents used to say, "You should sing something." So I
Um,
don't know why. I don't know why I was feeling embarrassment at that time.
Yeah, I think this is very common childhood memory of everyone. Like,
Mhm.
guests coming over and then parents asking us to, come sing over to your guests,
Yes.
and we started singing, and it was quite embarrassing. We were not so singers at that age, so yeah, that is embarrassing.
Uh,
Also, yeah, for me personally, I used to, there are always those superstitious beliefs that children use, believe. For example, for me, I used to think that, people, if they are female at birth, then they grow up and then they become male, and, vice versa happens. So if I grow up, I will become male. If my brother grows up, he will become female. So this
oh,
was my superstitious idea. I don't know where it came from, but I believed it very, religiously. What about you? Did you had any superstitious ideas or things that you believed?
superstitious idea. I'm unable to recall, but yeah,
Yeah, it's
I'm
all
not
right
getting.
if you don't recall.
Yes. Mhm.
So, since you were a very mischievous child, were your parents also very protective of you? Were they, always kind of taking care of you, looking up to you? Where are you? What are you doing? All of that things. Did they used to
No,
do that?
no, it was not like that. Actually, I was not living with my parents, and they were living in my native, as I said earlier. I was living with my elder brother, so he was taking care of us
Okay.
myself, and I was bound to reach my home at the time on time because he was very strict, my elder brother, and uh, he was kind as well. So you can say I become mature because I was indulging myself very much into the studies, and so yes. So I was
That's
taking care of myself. I was living with my uncle and auntie.
okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So they used to look up to you. All right. And when you were a child, did you had any aims at what you want to be when you grow up, or dreams like that? We all want to be pilot, engineer, something and
Yeah, yeah,
something.
yeah. Yeah, in my childhood, I was very curious about engineering, and I wanted to become mechanical engineer, and I have become mechanical engineer, and
Oh,
I
wonderful.
yeah, I had chosen mathematics subjects after 10th, and on the basis of mathematics, I have completed my engineering in 2002, and since 2002, I'm at work. I have 22 experience right now on the basis of engineering, and yeah,
Um,
yes, so.
So you have
Uh,
20 years of experience, and it's something that you always wanted to be. So that is wonderful. It's a
yeah.
blessing. You are, becoming what you always wanted to be. That's really
Yes,
great.
yes,
And,
yes, yes. Mm.
working hard for your dream is very wonderful.
Yeah.
Also, since you were very, naughty and mischievous, what were the punishments that were given to you for being this?
Punishment. I told you, mother, my elder brother was scolding me every time, and he had beaten me many times with the sticks. And and my whenever I used to visit my nephew, my father was not scolding me, and uh, I cannot remember that anytime he would have beaten me.
Okay.
Yeah, and sometime my mother had beaten me, but yeah, such
Your
types of
father.
punishment I was getting with my elder brother.
Okay. And your
Yeah.
elder brother acted as your father that he scolded and beat
Yes,
you.
and yeah, I can recall one incident when I was studying in ninth class. My teacher, she was beaten me. She was slapped me many times because one time I had taken her name in the class only for this thing. She had beaten me. She had
Oh, this
slapped
was
me.
such a minute thing to get beaten
Yeah,
for.
yeah. She was telling that why you cannot take my name in front of students. You should say only ma'am.
Okay. So she wanted you to call her only ma'am and you,
Yes,
just
yes.
you
And
called her name.
I was crying in the classroom. I
Oh,
had
that's
cried a
really
lot.
sad. Well, that's not really a good thing if your teacher beats you for such a minute thing, It's not a big
Yes.
deal. You did not
Mhm.
disrespect her or anything. But yeah, teachers are there who don't like them to be called by their name. And
Mhm.
is there any favorite, food that you liked as a child, and that if you ever eat that, it makes you remember your child. It's like nostalgia.
So you are asking about food.
Yeah.
Food. Uh, 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 I used to eat rice and pulses. Uh,
So, for
if
example, there are some sweets that I remember. There was this one coconut sweet that used to come. And whenever I see that, I remember my childhood very, instantly. It gives me that nostalgic feeling. Now they are not
Mhm.
very common, or you cannot just find it anywhere. Just sometimes, rarely you find it in, upper hilly areas or somewhere. And, I get that nostalgic feeling from eating it, or, you having it or seeing it after a long time. So, something like that. Do you have something like that in your childhood?
Hardly I was getting sweets and all these things because I was living with my uncle and auntie, and so such types of facilities was not available there. And I told you I was very much into the studies, but some uh, i- if I had visited somewhere, so whenever seen any food, any sweets and all these things, so. Uh, because I had no money at that time. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I was unable to eat, and that's
Okay,
it.
that's all right.
Now that the time has been changed, and nowadays I have good. I can earn enough. I'm earning good, and I can eat anything.
Now you have
So
means to eat everything that
yes,
you desire,
so
so that's a good thing
yeah,
also.
I can fulfill any
Work
my
hard for it,
all
so yeah,
desire.
you deserve it. You should eat everything that you find tempting or
Yes, yes.
want to eat or taste. That's good. All right. So, in your summer vacations, we all have, summer breaks and all. So, what were your things that you used to do during your summer breaks?
Yeah, in summer vacation when I was visiting my native, so I used to hang out with my cousins because in my native in summer vacation my all cousins were coming over there and we used to hang out together and we used to play chupa chupi and uh, yeah, and so many kettles were there in my. I am village guy, and so many kettles were there in my village. So
Mhm.
we used to go river to feed the water to kettles. Yeah,
You
and
used to go to,
we
yeah,
used to
rivers
swim.
and sea.
We used to swim together, and I can I would say I have learned swimming when I was drowning in the river.
Oh,
Yeah, and now I can swim perfectly.
so you learn swimming while drowning. That's
Yes.
something. That's one way of learning swimming too. Yeah, you're
Yes, yes.
in that
Actually,
situation when there is life in it.
my elder brothers were swimming, and I thought that how uh, how I cannot swim. How can I not swim at that area? Actually, they were swimming. Where is the water in deeper side? That was the deeper side actually, and so I thought, how can I cannot swim over there. So I had jumped over there and I was drowning at that
Oh
time.
God.
So
They not
somehow,
feel.
yeah, somehow I was able to manage after moving my hand, and I I come across the water. I come
Oh my
across
God,
the
you came back
river.
to the shores. Oh my God. Did
Yes,
no,
at
no
that,
one see you?
yeah, nobody. And after this incident, I had told my brothers and my parents, so they
Got
were
scolded?
scolding. They were scolding at that time.
Yeah. That is something to get scolded for too. All right. Okay, so one last question. Were there any cartoons or favorite shows that you used to watch as a child?
Yeah. There was so many books we were purchasing at that time. That was Nagraj comics, Chacha Chaudhary comics. We used to read at that time. Chacha Chaudhary, Nagraj, such types of comics we were getting in 5 rupees, in 10 rupees for the day. I think not 5 rupees, 10 rupees. It is below 5 rupees. So we were getting for the day, and after reading, we were returning.
Okay, yeah, that's yeah, I have heard of that you used to lend books and then read
Mhm.
them and then you used to go back like in a library system. So yeah, that's something.
Yes.
Okay,
And
I like that. Yeah,
yeah,
continue.
and mm, that Nagraj and Chacha Chaudhary, what they were in book actually, we were acting like that at time. We were considering ourselves, and at the time of Chupa
Yeah,
Chupi, at the time of acting.
you used to comic them, right? Mimicking is
Correct.
very common in children. If they see a
Mhm.
character that they like, they used to mimic them. My brother used to bring the costumes of those cartoons or anything that he used to like and
Yes,
then wear them
yes.
and mimic them and all around all day he used to talk to
Mhm.
himself and start playing with himself only. So yeah,
Mhm.
that's something that children do. All right.
Mhm.
So Sanjay, in this conversation of ours, what I noticed was there are few things that I want you to correct. Although
Sure, ma'am.
your fluency is good, you can continue the flow of the conversation, and the other person might understand you. But for a fluent English with a proper grammar structure that is required, you ask kind of leave the blanks in a sentence. You will for example, if you want to convey a sentence, you would say the sentence but you would leave the helping verbs in a sentence often,
Okay.
not
Yeah.
connecting the words with one another, so that often
Mhm.
the other person, I can understand what you are saying, but if you are, for
Mhm.
example, in a formal conversation where you have your superiors in front of you or you're giving a presentation or something like that,
Yeah.
that might
Mhm.
create a void or the people may not understand what you are trying to say, right?
Yeah.
So what we need to do is fill in those gaps where you are using a sentence properly. All right.
Yeah.
For example, in the start you said that I was pampered by the parents, right? So the
Mhm.
proper sentence would be I was pampered by my parents. You didn't use
Okay.
by in the sentence. Okay. So by my
Okay.
parents would be the proper sentence. And likewise,
Mhm.
there were many sentences that you used where there was not proper grammatical structure. So
Yeah.
what would I recommend to you is that keep continuing speaking in English with everyone that you see, with your friends, with your family, whenever you
Yeah.
have any conversation, right? If
Mhm.
try to have it in English only, right? So
Yes.
that would help you. It would be a kind of fun time with your family also. We will all start speaking in English for half an hour and then speak about your day in that
Mhm.
only, right? So this way you would understand the nuances and common tips bits of how you can connect the dots of sentences and how it would create fluency for you. Okay. Also, I want you
Correct.
to work on your vocabulary. because you are using quite common words again and again, and you're having some problem with recalling the words or getting new words in a sentence, right? So what we need to do is that improve our vocabulary also. Okay,
Sure.
since we are not left with much time, I would be giving you some words, and I would give you the meaning also, but I want you to create a sentence out of them. Okay, so you form a
Sure.
sentence, and I would give you the word and the meaning. All right.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. First word is immediate family. Immediate family means your closest relations, like your blood, mother, father, your siblings. That are your immediate family. So
Yeah. Yeah.
create a sentence with this word, immediate family.
Yeah. I would say my immediate family is my parents, my siblings, and my spouse and my kid.
Yeah, correct. So
Mm.
I live with my immediate family, right? So like something
Yes.
like that. Okay.
Mm.
Next word is distant relative. It means generally a relative who is the third cousin or greater, for example, great aunt or uncle, especially if you have little or no involvement with him or her in your childhood, for example, right? So they are your distant relatives, right? For example, third cousin, often we call them distant relatives. For example, your father's brother's son is your distant kind of relative, right? So create a sentence with that.
Yeah, I was living, I told you, I was living with my distance relative. I was
Yeah,
living
yeah.
with my
Distant.
uncle and auntie. Distance relative, isn't it,
Distance,
ma'am?
not distant. T-A-N-T.
Di-
Distant.
okay, distant.
Yes,
Okay, distant. So I was living with my distant relative.
correct. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was a good
mm,
sentence. In my childhood, I used to live with my distant
distant.
relatives.
Okay,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Okay. Next word is descendants. It means a person who is related to you or who lives after you, such as your child or your grandchild. They are your descendants, right? For example, you are a descendant of your great grandfather,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
right? Create a
Descendant.
sentence with it.
Yeah. Ancestors were good, and now descendant uh, are getting angry nowadays, and those.
That might
Uh,
not be the correct sentence.
okay, okay.
Usually, descendants,
Uh,
are someone who are, next to you, right? So
yes,
your
yes, yes, yes.
child is your descendant.
Yeah, my son is my descendant.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, like that, for
descendant.
example, you could frame a sentence. You could say, "I wish my descendants would be as successful as my forefathers, or would be more
Yeah.
successful than my forefathers." Like that. Okay.
Okay,
All
okay,
right.
okay.
So next sentence is to foster. It means to take care of someone else's child for a limited time.
Come again, man.
To foster is the word. Its
Mhm.
meaning is to take care of someone else's child for a limited time.
Someone else's child.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have seen many of my relatives had someone else child for study purpose.
Yeah. So you would say, my relatives used to foster many kids.
Okay,
Okay.
used to foster
That,
many
for
kids.
example,
Okay.
you yourself were fostered by your uncle,
Mm.
right? So I was
Yeah.
fostered by my uncle.
Okay.
All right.
Mm.
Okay. So one last word is juvenile.
Juvenile.
Yeah.
What is this, man? Juvenile.
Juvenile means relating to young people.
Okay. So the meaning is young people.
Juvenile means young people.
Okay.
Below
Uh,
18 years of age are juvenile.
our country population is juvenile.
No, that would be
Uh,
juvenile means 18, less than 18 years.
less than
So
18 years.
for
So,
juvenile, we have juvenile law.
juvenile,
Yeah.
yes, juvenile people are not allowed to ride the bike.
Yeah. Those who are juvenile are not allowed to ride a bike,
Bike,
right?
yeah.
So
Mhm.
it's not necessary to use juvenile people. Juvenile itself means a child who is less than 18
Okay,
years. All
okay,
right.
okay. Got it, got it. Mhm.
Okay, so try to use those words in your day-to-day sentences. Also, the session notes that you are given, try to go through them,
Yeah.
vocabulary. Yeah, try to use the words in your sentences and not learn the meaning, but use them in your sentences. Right? For example, if you are sometimes someone else you are having a conversation with about your childhood, now you could use your words like foster, right?
Yeah.
Or descendants, or
Definitely.
all of those words that you find could relate to your sentences or to your story, and likewise
Sure.
you
Sure.
could remember them also.
Sure.
Try to have a good fluency on your sentences, have a good command on your sentence structure. Try to read a lot so that you understand the sentence structure, how a sentence form is formed, right? So reading would actually
Yeah.
help you a lot in because your fluency is good, right? You are able to carry a conversation, but what is required is having a proper grammatical structure in a sentence, right? So that would help you
Yes.
by reading, right?
Sure, ma'am.
Okay, so since we are out of time for today, I hope to see you in next session.
Sure, ma'am. So I would love to join again.
All
Yes,
right.
with you.
Thank you. Likewise.
Okay.
Have a good
Okay.
day.
Thank you for being here, ma'am. Have a
Thank
nice day.